almost at the hospital, gonna have my surgery. I'm not really excited or nervous or anything. I'm just the calm before the storm, I guess. And we're almost here, so here we go. So I'm out of surgery. I feel really tired and kind of dizzy, and everything hurts, but it's not that bad. I'm working on my fluid right now. Just took a little walk, so I'll check in with you guys again in a little bit. Hey guys, so it's still day 1 after surgery, but it's time for some supper, so I'm about to see how that goes down. I've got some sugar-free Jello, some broth, and some clear protein shake. So it's almost 11:30. I've been sleeping off and on all day. I have a really hard time coming out of anesthesia, and it makes me really tired, so I've been up and down a lot. I just woke up again and thought I would talk to you a little bit about my day. So I have 4 incisions, and I'll insert pictures so that you can see. So if you're squeamish, just turn away for a minute. So there's 1 incision on my left side, 1 on my right, and 1 on each side of my belly button, so 4 incisions total. When I first got up out of bed, one of them bled a lot. So, sorry, one of my nurses stepped in for a minute to take my vitals. So, one of my incisions started bleeding and really freaked me out because when I stood up, a lot of blood went onto the floor, but apparently that's normal. I didn't have the tube for drainage put in because the incision they were going to put it in was too small for the balloon, so I don't have a drain. I had some broth and some Jello and some clear protein for my supper, and I had about half of each one of those. I think I'm doing pretty good. It took me an hour, but that's not unusual for me because I like to eat and do other things at the same time. So yeah, it's honestly not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm not saying that it's a walk in the park or anything, but I imagined that I would feel a lot worse than I do, so I'm happy about that. I have a binder on my stomach because the incisions are still bleeding some, so it kind of holds me together. And remember how I told you I really hate needles? I got stabbed 3 times in my left hand and then twice in my right hand before they got the IV. And then when I got out of surgery, that IV just wasn't doing it, so they had to take it out and redo it again, so I got stabbed 6 times for my IV. Took about 40 minutes to get my IV in, so the doctors and the nurses would all pass by my room while the EMT was trying to get the syringe in for the IV, and everyone's looking at me, and I'm like, that's really comforting feeling, you know. So it's been a day. So I'm actually really surprised because I think I'm doing really well on my fluid intake. I've drank a little more than half of this already, and then I probably drank about that much more of it earlier when I had them, before I had them refill it with cold water and ice again. So on top of what I drank from like my fluid meals, I've also drank quite a bit of water too. But the dry mouth is unrelenting. Like, the anesthesia really gives you really dry cotton mouth, and no matter how much water I drink or how many ice chips I suck on, I just cannot beat this Sahara Desert dryness in my mouth. But that's not too bad. You can kind of see where I have like some bruising from, here's another spot they got me with the IV. There, and obviously the one I currently have. Sorry, yeah, that was fun. A lot of fun. So one of the other things that they have you do while you're here, aside from getting up and walking a lot, is you have to do this thing every hour. Oop. Hit myself in the face. What you do is you put it in your mouth and you actually suck it. I've already done it this hour. I just wanted to show you it. So what it does is it helps you to fill your lung capacity, which keeps you from getting pneumonia. The constant walking around that we need to do is to prevent blood clots. I also have these little devices on my legs when I lay in bed that fill up with air, like a kind of like a BP, blood pressure. And then they squeeze your feet and then release it, and it helps to push the blood back up to your heart to also stop blood clots as well. So there's that. And I'm getting paid meds regularly and stuff for nausea. I also have this sticker thing on the back of my neck. What the sticker does is either pain or nausea. She wasn't sure, but so I have that sticker there too. It's got some medicine in it. I think they said I'm going to go home with them too. Just make sure that when I apply it, I wash my hands real good. Don't touch my kids. So, I don't know. Pain or nausea, one or the other. And because of the state of the world right now, I only get one visitor for 1 hour a day. So my husband came in to see me earlier, and I feel so bad because I was still in that stage where I was really, really delirious from the anesthesia. So I talked to him, but then I kind of like drift out, a little bit here and there. So I've been up and down a lot. There's a lot of tubes and cords hooked up to me. I have like this pulse ox that takes your oxygen and heart rate, and then of course the IV has fluids in it. And sorry, that's from my CPAP machine. And let's see, I also have an oxygen mask that I hooked up to my CPAP. I was just wearing the cannulas earlier when I wasn't sleeping. Well, I was sleeping, but not like consecutively sleep, so. I sat in this chair over here for a while today and just kind of also slept. But for being chalked up like a science school frog, I don't feel too bad. I'm really excited to go home. So they expect me to stay here just one night and then go home tomorrow, probably around noon. So I'm excited to do that. And that's pretty much how my day went. And I will check in with you guys tomorrow and talk to you on while I'm getting ready to go home and stuff, and let you know how I feel tomorrow. My mouth is getting really, really dry, so it's really hard for me to talk. It's awful. That's the worst part. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. One more thing I just wanted to pop in and let you guys know. Everybody is really individualized. Like, the amount of pain that you can handle, the amount of pain that you're mentally in. I know I also heard a lot of people say that you can barely eat or drink afterwards, and I do this fine. I can take a couple swigs of it, and it doesn't seem to bother me. Like, I've drank a lot more water in one sitting than I expected to, especially with what other people were telling me. Oh, you can only have like a very little tiny mouthful, and then if you drink too much it'll hurt, and I haven't experienced that. I've drank a lot of this. Hey guys, sorry, so my nurse popped in again. So I've drank about almost this whole thing now. I don't know if you can really see the water line there a little bit. And I was tilting it, so it's not really a fair assessment right there. And then the glass that I showed you earlier when I was like eating, that was separate from this because I had them refill it with cold ice water again. So I'm drinking fluids just fine. I also ate about half of the broth and the Jell-O and the clear protein drink, so there's that. So for my vitals, the blood pressure came back at 135/71, which is a little high for me. I'm usually lower. But there's a lot of things that go into blood pressure, just so that you don't worry when you have this done. Pain can affect it. The dehydration that you have because you're not supposed to drink anything after midnight plays into it. That's also why they had a really hard time getting my IV in, is because of the dehydration that I was going through. And then there's also what's called the white coat effect. So like anytime you're at your doctor's office or a hospital, your blood pressure is just naturally a little higher because nobody wants to be here. So there's those things to keep in mind when you're looking at your vitals while you're here. So that's it, guys. Have a good one.